morning, everyone. I'd just like to introduce myself. My name is Wade. I am a corporal in the Royal Australian Air Force. Thank you very much for that introduction. I'm an aircraft technician. As you can see, I've worked on multiple aircraft. So this is my intro slide and what I've been up to. As you can see, there's a lot of aircraft around. I've worked on 4. And as you can see, yes, I've had the pleasure of working on our brand new F-35 Joint Strike Fighter. It's a brand new piece of technology we have in the centre that we've just had come into service. And I was very fortunate to have done the very first engine change on Australian soil. So if you're interested in pulling engines apart and putting it back together and getting aircraft flying again, this is a trade for you. I've also worked on maritime aircraft as well too. So if people remember MH370, I've also been a part of that operation and had the luxury and pleasure of going up for a fly in an FA-18 Hornet. As you can see, I'm all ready to go. I went flying with my commanding officer in the back seat of a Hornet, one of the best roller coaster rides I've ever been on. I did that over the Northern Territory, over the Kakadu National Park, and it's just an amazing experience. And as you see, the last 2 slides, I've actually had the opportunity of representing Australia and also the ADF for sport. And I've also had the pleasure of meeting Prince Harry as well. So that's a little bit about me. I'm now going to hand over to Corporal Elleray, and she's going to give a little bit of insight for her career. Caitlyn.
Hey everyone, so my name's Caitlyn, or Kate. My job has been covered, so I'll just go over a little bit of the extra stuff. So in the Army, I've been in for 9 years now. My husband is a combat engineer in the Army. My brother is a vehicle mechanic in the Army, and my sister is in the Air Force as Air Force Security as a dog handler. So I have a family full of defence as well, but I outrank them all and I joined first. So they all come underneath me, which is great. In my time in the Army, I have deployed overseas. I've done operations in Australia. I've fired rocket launchers. I've been in a tank. It's probably one of my favourite vehicles that I have been in. Like Wade, I've also been able to represent the Army and ADF in AFL. So for up to 6 weeks a year, I pretty much get paid to play sport. My normal job doesn't count. They send me around Australia. They gave me accommodation. They fed me, and I got to keep most of the kit that I was wearing in those photos. The other one, we don't just deploy overseas for wars. In the Intelligence Corps especially, we have exchange programs with Hawaii, New Zealand. We can go to Canada, the UK for courses for even up to 12 months a year as well. So that's one of the Marines that I met about 6 to 7 years ago now, just in one of the exercises that we got to do. But we'll move on because we don't have too much time.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Caitlyn. So who we are. Look, as you probably looked at, we are Army, Navy, Air Force. We are a modern, dynamic, supportive and people-focused organisation. That's who we are. We've got hundreds of roles. We've got over 270 roles within the ADF. And our mission and what we do is we defend our nation, people, borders, and our way of life. That's what we do as a defence force. We also help our communities in conflicts and natural disasters. Local ones you might be aware of that happened a couple of years ago would be the bushfires and the floods that happened in the eastern parts of Australia. And we're also there to help our allies. Definitely Caitlyn and I have both helped our allies when we've deployed, especially to the Middle East area of operations. And that's pretty what we do as a defence force. And we've got a whole heap of new kit, and we break them up into sort of different categories.
So those categories, everyone knows the combat security. That's what you see on the movies. The people that go out, they are the defenders for us and use a lot of different weapons. The aviation space, so that's our pilots, the people working on the aircraft, like the technicians, like Wade, and anyone to get those aircraft in the air. The trade space, so we do qualified trades. So Wade actually comes out with a civilian qualification. We do it in less time, plus you are paid better than you would get paid as an apprentice in the Defence Force, and a guaranteed job at the end of it. Engineering, so we have heaps of engineering degrees to make sure that all of our equipment and everything is running the way it should be. Healthcare and science, we have doctors, psychologists, nurses, medics. You think of it, we have to have it in the Defence Force to be able to be a self-sustaining force when we do go overseas. Logistics, hospitality and support, they are some of the people I try to make friends with right away. They give me my uniforms and make sure I'm nice and warm when I need it, and they feed me. So I love food, and taking them on and having friends, best thing. Now, communications and IT, if you are into communications and IT, we are an ever-evolving force. I work in the intelligence space myself. We have a massive cyber capability that's up and coming. Well, it's already up. We're trying to build it. And then we have that business admin as well to make sure that we get to where we need to go. All of our paperwork is done and we are following the right courses for that.
Awesome. So methods of entry. So we do have multiple entry methods. The first pathway is your officer entry. So that's where we're looking at you getting your degrees, you're going to the academy, you can come straight in as a pilot, mission controller or any of those, as well as a defence university sponsorship. So if you are looking at doing some of those niche jobs, like we do have doctors, lawyers and nurses, so if you are looking at that, we can potentially sponsor you for your degree. Our general entry, that is where Caitlyn and I fit in. So we fit in the non-technical and technical trades. So I like to use the soccer analogy or footy analogy. Your officers are your managers and your coaches, and then your general entry people, they're the people on the field that are playing the game. We also do have reserves and gap year opportunities as well.
So about ADFA, that is our university that we link in with UNSW down in Canberra. You can study numerous different degrees from arts, science, business, all the way up to engineering. The ATAR ranges from 75 to 85, and you have to complete your year 12 with passes in English and 3 other subjects, usually tertiary subjects. Now, at ADFA, you do learn leadership and management training. However, you are focusing on your degree at that time. Once you complete your degree, you then move forward to your actual officer training to do it from there. If you're looking at a degree, ADFA is really good. You come out with no HECS debt, no help debt. You are guaranteed a job in the workforce and you are paid while you are there, as well as getting fed, accommodation, everything you need.
Awesome. All right, we'll get into the gap here. This is what I like to call the try before you buy. So this is a 12-month program. You can come out once you've completed year 12. You do need to be between the ages of 18 and 24. So that is one of the criteria. We also need to see a completion of year 12, plus passes in maths and English as well. So you can do that across all 3 of our services. You're going to be doing something completely unique and something completely different. You'll sort of get streamed and you go through all those different jobs. Personal opinion, I think the Navy does it the best. That's just my opinion from what I've seen and what I've heard as well too.
Agree. All right, eligibility. So what we need to see to be able to join. So minimum age to apply for ADFA is 16 years. Any other job is 16 and a half years. Now, you have to be an Australian citizen to be able to join, and you have to prove that as well. Now, education requirements for all officer entry, minimum of completion of year 12 in English and 3 other subjects. For pilot, you want to look at that advanced maths, physics, multi-strand science component. Don't have to, but they are highly desirable, and it is a position that a lot of people want, so it is sought after. Engineers, again, you want to look at maths, physics and engineering kind of studies. Now, general entry baseline is complete year 10, passes in maths and English. So a pass for us is a C or a 15 above. And if you want a trade or role, you need to also complete science. And then ADFA, as I said, ATAR between 75 to 85, depending on the degree you're after.
Awesome. All right. Joining the military, yes, that's the eligibility that we're talking about. We also do have some fitness standards that comes with joining. So pretty much, well, you have the Army, Navy, Air Force, and as you can see, they're up there. They do vary from job to job and service to service and pathway that you're going for. Army have just recently redone their entry methods to fitness standards to get in, and then just have a look on our website, defencejobs.gov.au. We also do have some specific general higher levels of fitness, and that's mainly for clearance cyber, our special forces, and a ground defence officer pathway. So jump on our website. That's got all the latest details on there, and then we'll go through with the Active app.
So ADF Active is an application that we have. We do recommend it for anyone looking to do the fitness test with the Defence Force. What we recommend it for is it has videos of the techniques of the push-ups and the sit-ups, and also the cadence. So Army doesn't have cadence push-ups. Cadence is where they tell you when to go down and up, but Navy and Air Force do. Navy once you join, not to get in. And then the sit-ups, all of our sit-ups are done the same. So we have feet held, then it tells you when to raise and you go up and down, and it's one every 3 seconds. So that way you can just make sure you are training to the right technique and standard, and can also meet the requirements to join. Fantastic.
Awesome. This is probably the most important website that you're going to get to know today, defencejobs.gov.au. This is our own website. This has got all the information. So this comes down to all the jobs that we have, how to join, contacting us, putting your application in now. And as you can see, you can click on that apply now and you can go through the application process. This has got all the information and latest up-to-date info that you need to know about to join the military and choose the right job for you. I highly recommend it. Get on it. It's got a whole heap of stuff on there. And also, we do have our YouTube channel as well, which I'll let Caitlyn explain.
Yeah, so our YouTube channel is really handy for people that don't like reading the information. You can go on there and look at a day in the life of for any of the jobs that you're interested in, and it takes you through what to expect, what those members do in those roles, and just gives you a little bit more of a video insight for the visual learners.
Fantastic. Awesome. Now, I know everyone is probably getting connected. Everyone's on social media these days. Look, this is how you stay connected with us. Obviously, the first one we've mentioned is defencejobs.gov.au. Jump on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, as Caitlyn said. We've got all of them you need to know about. If you need to know something specific, we do have a specific email address, which is cp2newsouthwales@dfr.com.au. Or if you want to put your application in, 131901. That's sort of the way that you can get through and get started and get in contact with people like myself and Caitlyn. We can have a chat about your potential career within the ADF. And that's it from us.
Yeah, thank you for your presentation. We have a few questions here for you. Our first question is, well, I'll let Wade Roberts answer this. Are there any work experience for high school students?
Yes, there are. So we do have the Defence Force Work Experience Program. What you can do is you can type that into Google. It will come up. That does range between 1 up to 5 days, and that's normally done within your local, by your local base. So for people in Sydney, you'd be either looking at RAF Base Richmond, you'll also be looking at Holsworthy, and a few other bases around there. So that's the potential there. There is that opportunity. It just comes down to when we can get that and work that in with your schedule and obviously us as well too.
Yeah. The next question is for Caitlyn. Were your parents in the army as well?
No, not really anyone in my family was in the army. I had people back in World War I and World War II, but none that I had known since I was born. I just wanted to be a police officer, was too young to join the army, and I fell in love and been in for 9 years.
Yeah. Next question is, are careers available in defence for people with existing health or mental health issues? If not, are there similar roles available in other areas? I'll let Caitlyn answer this as well.
Yep, so we're not actually allowed to talk medical to anyone. If you do have any medical questions, you are able to call up 131902 and select option 2, and you can speak to our medical staff and they'll go through the whole process with you, as they are the only trained and qualified people that are able to answer those questions, sorry.
Why are there fitness standards for jobs in the army that don't require much physical activity? Example, IT or engineering. I'll let Wade answer this.
Yeah, no worries. So, look, we understand that, yes, being in the army, there are some job roles that do require to be in a combat situation, looking at your infantry soldier and your officer pathways. That is just to make sure that you can meet the required standards that comes with the physicality of those jobs. So Army recently have just changed that to just make sure that you are fit and able to come into those jobs, but also remember that you are a soldier first. So even those other standards, you will be going up when you get to your basic training at beautiful Kapuka. So that's why they are different. So we do have different criteria for different roles. So hopefully that answers that question.
Yeah. Next question is, how do you manage your social life and your work life? How do you keep it balanced? I'll let Wade answer this one as well.
Cool. Yeah, good question. Social life and work. Look, it's a fine balance between that work life. Look, I'm married with 2 young kids. I've got a 2-year-old and a 6-month-old, plus 2 Labradors. And look, it's for me, I find it as a lifestyle, and we work around it. We make sure that we are doing the right things by my family, and making sure I can still meet all my work commitments. I know Caitlyn as well too. She would definitely agree with me, and she might be able to give her perspective quickly on her thing. But yeah, definitely something you can do. You are a military member, so there is times that you do have to go away on deployments. That is a part of our job. It's part of why we sign up and why we do the job that we love. Did you want to add anything onto that, Caitlyn, as well?
No, that's about right. It's just about balance. And at the end of the day, we get to go home to our families. We're not stuck on base all the time like people think.
Yep. What type of skills do you need to work at Defence Force recruiting? I'll let Caitlyn answer this question.
Yeah, so we actually have to apply for it and go through a whole interview process and a full day of getting up, doing presentations. We have to write an essay. We have to be at the top of our job to actually go to Defence Force recruiting, as for Defence, it's a representational role. The skills you need, you have to be really people focused. You have to want to help the Defence Force and bring in the next generation of people that you are either going to be in charge of, or that may even be in charge of you if you're in the general entry and they go to officer as well.
Yep. The next question is, what are your daily tasks at Defence Force recruiting? I'll let Wade answer this question.
Yeah, great question. Look, for us in Defence Force recruiting, so Caitlyn and I, we're both careers coaches. So we'll have a chat to our future members of the ADF, as Caitlyn said. We're bringing in that next generation of aviators, soldiers and sailors. So that's where we're going to come in. We've all done exceptionally well in our field, so we'll have a chat to ranges, but it could be 2 to 3 up to 5 phone calls a day talking to candidates. We'll also do PT and then any other tasking that's required for us. So we also take care of all the pre-fitness assessments. We also do extra mentoring for candidates that just need that little bit of guidance and coaching to get them ready for their day, to come in for assessment day, or getting them ready for their officer selection boards, those types of aspects that comes with it. So we like to engage as much as possible with our candidates and future members of the ADF.
Yeah. What course for university should I be recommended if I were to apply for a job at Defence Force recruiting in the IT industry? I will let Caitlyn answer this.
So courses can differ depending on the job you want in Defence. If you go onto defencejobs.gov.au and look at the ADFA side of things, it will bring up a booklet where it can tell you what degree. If you do a certain degree, you can only go into these job roles. If you go into the Army, though, you are not guaranteed a job. You go in as a general service officer and you get ranked against your cohort and pick a job that way. My advice is pick a degree that you want to use outside of Defence, because you're probably not going to need it during your career in Defence Force. It's to set you up for success at the end of your career.
Have you ever been in a dangerous situation while working? I'll let Wade go first.
Look, with my job role, being a technician, my job's dangerous every day of the week. I get to work around aircraft, and then pretty much anything that's on that thing is either sharp, it's either dangerous, creates a lot of thrust out the back, especially being a fighter jet. In regards to like on an area of operations, no, just because of the realm of my job. I'm not too sure. Caitlyn might have, but we'd like to come home to our families. That's why we try and do the best that we possibly can. But be advised, we are a military organisation, and there is that potential, and that's why we sign up for.
Yep. What do you think is your greatest strength and weaknesses? I'll let Caitlyn answer this question.
Weaknesses, I've been working on them since I joined. So before I joined, I could not actually talk in front of people. I couldn't present. I could not stand up and just say a single word to people. So I've had to learn how to just communicate, stand up, present, be who I needed to be, especially for my job role. Strengths that I've learnt throughout is that I don't need to know everything, but I need to know where to find it and who to ask for different things. So now I just know if someone asks me a question, just say I'll get back to them and go straight to where I need to find it and get that answer back as soon as possible.
Yep. How do you handle the forces exerted in a fast jet plane? I think this question goes to Wade.
Yeah, awesome question. Look, we have a heap of different safety devices for our pilots. Yeah, I have been in the back seat of a Hornet, so I do know what it is to pull 5.1G. Yeah, it hurts. Our pilots go through a pretty vigorous training program to learn the techniques that they require to fly. We also have the equipment as well. So if you haven't heard, we do use G suits in aircraft, and that pretty much well prevents the blood draining from your head when you are doing high powered maneuvers and pulling a lot of G's in an aircraft. So yeah, we try and keep our pilots very safe. We have the equipment and the right training, and it is state of the art training and equipment that we have.
Wade, being part of the Air Force, have you ever piloted an aircraft?
Yes. So yeah, when I got to go for my ride with my commanding officer, he said you can take the controls. He let me do some aileron rolls and let me do some light maneuvers. Ultimately, he was in charge of the aircraft. So when I was coming back from Japan as well on a trip, my deck commander, he was co-pilot that day in the Orion, and he told me, did I want to fly? It was my last trip with the squadron before I moved on to other units. So he let me fly that aircraft. So yeah, I have had that chance. It was all safe. It was all under control. So it wasn't like I just got the controls and then go flying. It was done in a very safe manner. So I have had those opportunities.
What do you think are the secrets behind getting to where you are now? I'll let Caitlyn answer this question.
Just take the advice on. So especially when you go through training, they're not there to actually target you or belittle you or yell at you for anything. They're trying to build you up to make you the best soldier and then later on leader within the Defence Force. If you take the advice on as, yep, okay, I'll try and do better next time, and if you just slowly get better, you continue your career and you go up in the ranks and do what you need to do.
Yep. If you ever left your current job, where would you likely work next? I'll let Caitlyn answer this as well.
So I've had job offers from the other government agencies in Canberra, especially relating to intelligence fields. Otherwise, probably the police force. Like I said, that's originally what I wanted to do. But yes, it'd either be Canberra or the police force. And if it was the police force, Queensland, for sure.
Have you ever been forced to do something you didn't want to when deployed? I'll let Wade answer this question.
No, I haven't. That's why we have a chain of command. That's why we have the ability to talk about it. My industry is very different just because of the safety realms and aspects that come into it. If there is something that I think is going to be a safety concern for myself or my team, then I would raise my concerns up with the chain of command. That's why we have a rank structure in the military. And even then we'll discuss it and then we'll go forth. But there are some times that you might just have to do that job that you don't want to do, like, sweep the hangar floor that, it needs to be done on a Friday to make sure that the hangar's clean, and, you might need to do a refuel or something like that in regards to a Friday afternoon. You just get in and do it. You get the job done, and then you move on to the next task. Caitlyn, have you got anything to add to that one?
No, that was right.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you wish you'd known before you entered this field? I'll let Wade answer this question.
Yeah, good question. Look, I guess being in the trades role for me, I didn't really need to have any prior knowledge joining the military. They trained me up. They gave me the best training that I needed so I could effectively do my job. that is why we have such a good training program, especially within the trades and all of our other jobs that we have in the military. We give you the latest and greatest training with some of the latest technology that's coming in. Air Force has just recently brought in a whole heap of new aircraft. The Army is also bringing in a whole heap of new assets as well, and that comes with the latest training packages that come with it. So that's pretty well. I wasn't trained to be a technician. I didn't have any qualifications prior to coming in. I was a cabinet maker before I joined, and then I retrained. I got the best training that I can, but also just have an open mind when you're coming into the Defence Force. Always put your hand up, always be proactive, do those little tasks that some people might not want to do, and you'll progress quite quickly.
Yeah, I think we have time for one final question. I'll let Wade answer the last question. Do you use any simulation tools to train your pilots?
Yes. Yes, we do have the latest simulators for all of our aircraft. That's what they do. They train. That's what they're doing majority of the time. They'll also go and do other missions as well. Obviously, go fly real aircraft. But there is a lot of simulator time that does come with all of our aircraft. And yeah, very exciting. Obviously, with our new F-35, yep, there is simulators for it. And if you wanted to find anything out, just research them on defence.gov.au. That's a really good place to look up. What we have in regards to simulators and things like that, they have come a long, long way, a lot better than Flight Simulator that came back out in the early 2000s. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your insights and sharing your experience about IT careers.
No, thank you very much for that.
Thank you.